the way we are now? I mean, how did it get to where Genesis is so easily dissed and tritely dismissed, and how did we get here? And yeah, it doesn't just start with Darwin's book in 1859, but that's kind of a big turning point. And then 1925, the Scopes trial, and then all the court battles. What was happening in social and religious life in America particularly, and around the world, to where after that, all of the court battles about textbooks in schools and battles in the public forum and arguments about evolution and creation and all of that. How did it get the way it is? So I want to spend about half the time doing a thing like that. It's a little more historical. Dinosaurs might come up, but it's not like that's the point. And also things, about some of the compromise theories that people have, how the church has tried to compromise evolution with creation, the current state of the creation science community. Everyone's heard about the Creation Museum and different movies and documentaries that are out and things like that, but what's the situation on college campuses and creation science workers like myself? But there are so many different ones. Some of them don't trust the Bible and don't trust Genesis. And how do you tell a difference, and what are they out there? And then there'll be one session on science in the Bible called The Bible, the Ultimate Text Message, which is about science that has been in the Bible all these thousands of years, and only recently has mankind caught up with it. So it's a little bit different from the dinosaur thing, but if you're interested, I think there would be, age 12 and up might get into it. Certainly high school and up. I hope that helps, gives you an idea of what's coming. Thank you.
It's interesting how the Holy Spirit just seems to interrupt our own ideas about things. And I was just going to take a break from doing anything this January, but a couple months ago, we as the elders were just sharing with each other our sense of how in this time where we see the spirit of lawlessness in our culture becoming less and less restrained, that we're seeing a real uptick in what we would call spiritual warfare, and how naive sometimes we as Christians are about that reality. And one of the elders, John Hagen, shared a book with us that goes all the way back to the 70s that we reread for some of us about this topic. In the meantime, a couple of the ladies here in the church talked to me a little bit about, hey, we just wish that the leadership would do something to better equip us in understanding the reality of spiritual warfare, and not only how we in our own lives can deal with that, but also how we can be better equipped to help others. And so as we've prayed about it, we have decided that we're going to offer a class based on Neil Anderson's book, The Bondage Breakers. I think that Anderson is probably one of the most balanced treatments on this topic that I've ever read. And so I think it's an excellent series that we'll be doing based on that book. We'll have some supplemental materials as well. A couple of the folks, 2 or 3 of the folks, are also already involved in some of the other classes later Wednesday nights. So what we're going to do is offer that class at 5 o'clock, and we'll run from 5 to 6:10 so that we can break and enjoy the fellowship meal before the other classes start. We will try to provide childcare during that time period if you need it. So that's a little bit different than what we've done in the past, but if this is a topic that you have a burden about and just feel like you want to be better equipped in understanding that reality, I think you'll find this will be an excellent study. So.
I was kind of like John in terms of going to take a break for the winter, and I was preparing to do the Screw Tape letters in the spring. And as I was preparing to do Screw Tape Letters in the spring, one of the themes that comes up is self-deception, which is our kind of ability to hide ourselves from ourselves, but you have to be really tricky about how you do that so that yourself doesn't know that self is doing the deceiving to you. It's a really interesting dynamic. And so one of my favorite books is a book called I Told Me So. And the front cover is a guy looking into a mirror, but when you look at the reflection of the mirror, you're seeing the back of his head, not his face. It's a really solid handling of the issue of self-deception in the Christian life. And it's one of those things that I think Christian thinkers throughout time have often grappled with. And so it's a short book. We're going to do a 4-week study beginning in January. And so we'll just be meeting during the month of January for this particular study. There's more details in the registration form that you have, but it's a short little read, very interesting. And what's also kind of cool about self-deception is our capacity to deceive ourselves actually is part of the fall, but we have a good design. So the things that we abuse in deceiving ourselves are actually built to do some cool things, and so that also comes out in this book. So if you want to join me for I Told Me So, I'd be excited to have you. It's a good book, and you don't have to do that and Screw Tape, but it's a good preface if you're interested in doing Screw Tape Letters potentially in the spring. I'm sorry, I kept calling it the wrong thing. The Great Divorce. Thank you. Yeah, not Screw Tape Letters. That would be a cool one too. But it's for the Great Divorce. Thanks.
So lots of cool stuff happening, right? Gabby, I'm sorry. We're also doing the meal at the Mission on the 14th.